everyone. My name is Teresa, and on behalf of NASA and myself, welcome to Kennedy Space Center. Our journey will be taking us over to Apollo Saturn V. It'll take around 15 minutes. On the way, we'll watch some videos, and I'll also point out some few things of interest. Always a good idea to look out the windows. This is Merritt Island Wildlife Refuge. You never know what you might see out there. Just a few things to go over, please. There's no eating on the bus. Also, please remain seated while this bus is in motion. That is for your safety and everyone else around you. So sit back and we'll start our journey. Thank you.
Sequence start. Now step off the landing. That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Place amongst the stars since the dawn of humankind. We've looked at the stars with wonder and amazement, their glow guiding our travel for centuries. The more we learn about our universe, the more questions we have.
I'm Emily Calandrelli, and today you'll be following me behind the gates on this exclusive bus tour of Kennedy Space Center. Our journey will take us past active facilities and end at the visitor complex's own Apollo Saturn V Center.
But before we begin this journey, just like every NASA mission, our #1 goal is to return home safely. So always stay seated while the bus is in motion. Please, no food or drinks on the bus with the exception of water. Please keep conversation to a minimum so others may hear and enjoy the tour. No photography is permitted at the security gates, but there will be plenty of photo opportunities during the tour.
This rocket that you'll see standing tall in front of KSC's badging station is the Mercury Redstone rocket. It represents NASA's earliest efforts to send humans into space. These Redstone rockets were formerly ballistic missiles provided to NASA by the U.S. Army. In October of 1958, NASA formally organized Project Mercury with the mission to investigate man's reaction to this new environment and safely recover the capsule and its pilot. Man rating for human spaceflight on what was previously a ballistic missile was no easy task. After several modifications and test flights, a Mercury capsule carrying Ham, a chimpanzee, was successfully launched and recovered on January 31st, 1961. Just months later, on May 5th, astronaut Alan Shepard launched on a Mercury Redstone rocket, becoming the first American in space.
Hi, I'm Janet Petro, and welcome to NASA's John F. Kennedy Space Center, where NASA astronauts have ventured forth on flights of exploration since the 1960s. And what an exciting time to visit our multi-user spaceport. Through our Commercial Crew program, we are sending astronauts to the International Space Station from American soil for the first time since the Space Shuttle program ended in 2011. We're continuing to launch new research experiments and supplies to the space station with our commercial resupply services and launching the most technologically advanced scientific instruments to date into space through our Launch Services program. This all culminates in our ultimate mission, the Artemis program, where NASA will return to the moon, this time with the first woman and first person of color, and continue on to Mars. In all our history, there's been one common theme woven throughout our DNA. It's our insatiable desire to explore beyond our home planet in our never-ending quest to expand our knowledge of the universe. As you venture behind the gates, you'll find a community of the most talented, dedicated, motivated workforce anywhere in the world who believe in the unlimited potential of space exploration. This is an active spaceport where new things are happening every day. You never know what you might see, so enjoy your tour.
You are now approaching the Vehicle Assembly Building, or as NASA calls it, the VAB. It is one of the largest buildings in the world by volume, and is the place where NASA completes the final assembly of its rockets before launch. The sheer scale of this building is hard to grasp, even when you're right next to it.
Do you ever feel really small when you think about space? What about when you're standing next to a skyscraper or a really big bridge? Well, I feel about as small as an ant right now. I'm standing inside the Vehicle Assembly Building trying to grasp how large it really is in here. It has 4 bays. Each bay has 2 large horizontal doors below it and 7 smaller vertically opening doors above it, tall enough to fit the world's largest rocket through. In fact, these are the largest doors in the world.
Construction of the VAB required 65,000 cubic yards of concrete, 45,000 steel beams, 1 million steel bolts, amounting to almost 100,000 tons of steel. Notice the flag painted on the outside of the VAB? It's the size of a 21-story building. The blue section alone is the size of an NBA basketball court. Each star is 6 feet across, and each red and white stripe is wide enough for this bus to drive down. And the entire VAB? It's so huge that the Roman Colosseum would fit on the roof with room to spare for a parking lot. By volume, the VAB can fit 3.5 Empire State Buildings, and it would take 250 billion ping pong balls to fill it.
NASA is known for dreaming big, and big dreams require big equipment. I'm standing next to the Crawler Transporter, the largest self-powered land vehicle in the world. It was originally built in 1965 for the Apollo program, and has since been updated to accommodate the space shuttle and now NASA's SLS rocket. Weighing in at 6 million pounds and capable of lifting and hauling 18 million pounds, the Crawler is an engineering marvel, even without a rocket sitting on top of it. This thing has 2,750 horsepower V16 diesel engines that can carry the Crawler up to a top speed of, wait for it, 1 mile per hour while carrying a rocket. Keep an eye out for the Crawler as we approach this area. And remember, we are visiting a working spaceport, so while the Crawler may not stay in one area for very long, it's bound to be out here somewhere. Now, let me introduce you to my friend, John Giles, the Crawler project manager.
I'm standing in front of Crawler Transporter number 2 at the Kennedy Space Center. Crawler Transporter number 2 will be used for the SLS program to take the launch vehicle back and forth to the pad. We will begin by going underneath the mobile launcher. We'll pick it up, we'll take it over to the VAB. They'll then assemble the launch vehicle on top of the mobile launcher, and then we'll come back to the VAB. We'll slide underneath it again, we'll pick it up, we'll take it out to the pad. The trip of about 4.2 miles. It'll take us about 7 hours to get there. But during our trip to the launch pad, we'll roll over a specially prepared crawler way that consists of anywhere from 8 to 12 inches of special rock. Below that is limestone that's about 4 feet thick and compressed to hold the weight of the crawler and the mobile launcher. And then below that is some hydraulically compacted sand that can support all the weight. And then once we're there, we'll drop it all off. Then a few days later, there'll be a launch. We'll come back, we'll pick the mobile launcher up, and we'll bring it back to the VAB to start the process all over again.
will be making a left turn at the traffic light, but if you look over to your right inside the fenced area, that is a mock-up of the Orion launch abort system. The first thing you'll see is the number 1, the emergency vehicle that stands by. In the middle is the crew access arm where the astronauts will walk through and into the white room. And on the other side of that is the launch aboard rocket. The 4-story white building, that is Launch Control Center. Every launch that comes out of 39A or B is controlled by that area. If we look at the vehicle assemble building, the American flag, it's 209 feet in height, 110 feet in width, and the NASA logo, they are all hand painted. Straight ahead of us, we do have a mural of Boeing Starliner in orbit. And once we get back up to Kennedy Parkway, we'll go over a few more details about the vehicle assemble building. Now you look to your right, that building is 525 feet tall. It is the largest one-story building in the world. There's only one level inside there. The gray doors, they are 456 feet tall, and they take 45 minutes to completely open or close. Now once we get up to the intersection and we just about pass it, we'll be able to see one of the crawlers there. The crawler has 2 driving cabs, one in the front and one in the back on the opposite side. The reason for that is too big of a machinery to try to make turns with. Every time it needs to go in a different direction, the driver would just get out of one cab and go into the other. As soon as I cross over the intersection, if you start looking to your right, you'll be able to see crawler 1. You'll see one of the cabs right there on the top. Once we pass this building, if you keep looking back, you'll get another view of it. Now, they did say the crawler probably can get up to 1 mile per hour with the rocket on top of it, but they always forget to mention it also gets an amazing 32 feet to the gallon.
50 years and some 3,000 kilometers or 2,000 miles on the clock. NASA expects the crawlers to be in operation for at least another 3 decades. How cool is that? The latest refurbishment is complete and preparation is well underway for the first SLS mission. The crawler will be doing what it was originally designed to do once again, which is moving rockets.
We choose to go to the moon. We choose to go to the moon. We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things. Not because they are easy, but because they are hard.
When President John F. Kennedy made this speech in 1962, he set in motion an era of discovery that would change humankind forever. 7 years after he spoke these ambitious words, the world watched as Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin became the first people to walk on the moon. The achievements of the men and women who worked on the space program in these early decades of NASA helped propel the technology we use every day. NASA and the thriving private space industry at Kennedy Space Center today are the living legacy of their story. As we arrive at the Apollo Saturn V Center to learn more about that historic era, get ready to step back into a time when NASA had everything to prove to a nation focused on one goal: to be the first country to land a person on the moon.
Please check around your seat to make sure you have all of your belongings before departing the bus. Wait at the metal doors to enter the Apollo Saturn V Center. A new show will begin every 10 minutes. Stay and explore as long as you like, and simply exit through the Right Stuff gift shop to board a bus back to the visitor complex. About a 15-minute ride with buses departing frequently.
Now if you look straight ahead or to your right when I make a left turn, the black structure down there with the lightning rod on top of it, that is launch pad 39A. That is one of the pads that SpaceX launches his Falcon 9 from. You also notice that tall gray cage next to it. That is supposed to be SpaceX's new launch pad for their Starship. On that side, we also have 3 lightning masts. They are 600 feet tall. After all, we are the capital of North America when it comes to lightning. And near that vicinity, we have launch pad 39B. We now arrive to Saturn V. Please remain seated till this bus comes to a complete stop. I secure the bus, open the door, and open the gate. Beautiful day today to visit the garden. There's a lot in reference to the moon. Also, we'll be coming up to some silver doors. They open up every 10 minutes for a show. And then when you're ready to come back to the visitor center, the only thing you need to do is go through the gift shop and catch the buses down the other end. Have a great time. Watch your step, but take a moment. Look around. Make sure you have everything. Thank you.